How's it going, y'all? Welcome to the Ross Overland channel. Today we're going to be doing a review and talk a little bit about my 2023 Chevy Colorado Trail Boss. We are going to be mainly doing a lot of overland and off-road content on the channel. Let me know if you guys are looking to see anything in particular as far as the truck setup goes. We'll be doing mods and adding a lot of stuff to the truck in the near future, so I'm excited for you guys to see all that stuff. So let's get going with the review. Coming from a second gen Colorado, this is obviously the third gen Colorado. This is the new generation model. The new generation is a lot bigger. It is higher, wider, a lot taller. I think the styling looks a lot better over the second gen, and you know, Chevy knocked it out of the park with this one. The new Tacoma, sorry Tacoma boys, I don't think it looks as good, but I'm in love with the third gen Colorado look. Now, next thing I want to talk about is the new engine and engine options that come in the third gen Colorado. You have 3 engine options. The Trail Boss typically comes with the Turbo Plus option, and that is going to be your mid-range. You can, if you get the mid-range engine option, you have the ability for the dealer to flash it to the third option, which is the high output tune. And I believe the high output tune gives you around 430 to 450 pound-feet of torque, which is crazy for a mid-sized truck. As you can see, we have a rooftop tent and a rack, and when I'm fully loaded with camping gear, she drives like a dream. I have more than enough power, especially going through the trails, going up high inclines, no problems. I also work in construction, and I've towed a mini skid steer. I've loaded the bed up with materials, no issues with power or braking. I do want to add, the brakes in the third gen Colorado are actually a lot bigger than the second gen, so you do have more braking power over the second gen Colorado. Brakes seem to be fine. Everything is good in that department. The turbo, it takes a little bit to get used to, but I do love that turbo whistle in a first to second gear. It sounds really nice. But once it spools up, you have plenty of power. Right now I have 17,000 miles on this engine. I have had no issues as far as reliability or anything as far as the engine is concerned. A lot of people have had issues with electronics in the new Colorado. I have had 0 issues so far. Well, actually that's not true. I've had 1 case of a dead battery. I woke up in the morning, I went to start the truck, and it was dead. I had to jump start it at like 6 a.m. in the morning going to work. Other than that, I've had no issues. Recently GM did issue a recall, not a recall, but a stop sale for the automatic braking, the safety features in the Colorado. One time I had an issue where I was coming up to a vehicle and maybe I got a little bit too close. I should have put on the brakes a little bit harder, and the truck instantly locked the brakes, and I almost literally flew out the windshield. But that was the only time that's ever happened to me. I've never had another issue. I just keep that feature off because sometimes I get scared that it's going to happen in traffic or on the highway. But those are the only issues I've had so far. Dead battery, the safety feature as far as the brakes. So as you can see, I have done some mods to the front of the Trail Boss. Unfortunately, Chevy does not give you nice headlights or fog lights if you get the Trail Boss. As you can see, I've added some fog lights from 589 Fabrication and some Baja Designs fog lights. I've also added pod lights to the A-pillars, which is awesome for off-road use and driving at night on the trail. The one thing I don't like that Chevy did was, as I've talked about before, the headlights. First off, they don't come with LEDs, and second off, it's 2023. Why are we not getting at least an LED daytime running light? Doesn't make any sense to me, but that's what it is, and that's what you pay to get all the off-road goodies for the price. Now, one thing I do really like about the Trail Boss trim is the rims and tires that you get with the trim. The Z71 doesn't even get these, the ZR2 doesn't get these, and I think they look great on this truck. Honestly, I'm considering keeping them and never buying another rim for this truck again, just because I love the way they look. So, as you can see, we've done also some more modifications to the back of the truck. I've added a bed rack and a rooftop tent. I've also added these traction boards, which I luckily haven't had to use yet. The truck handles great with the bed rack and the rooftop tent on. As far as gas mileage goes, I've probably lost somewhere in the vicinity of 3 to 5 miles to the gallon with the rooftop tent and the bed rack on. It's not too bad. If I'm going from point A to point B on the highway, cruising about 73 to 75 miles an hour, I still maintain 19 miles to the gallon, which is way better than my second gen with the V6. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some of the off-road features and the off-road performance of the Trail Boss. I mainly use my truck as an overlanding truck. We're going to be doing a lot more mods and a lot more overlanding content in the future. But I have had zero issues so far with the four-wheel drive system, four-wheel drive high, four-wheel drive low, automatic. It's been awesome. It's got great power. Now, the one thing I will say about the off-road performance of this truck is Chevy gives you a G80 in the Trail Boss and the Z71 trim models. Now, for those of you that don't know, the G80 is an auto mechanically locking rear differential locker. You only get a selectable locker front and rear in the ZR2. I sort of wish that Chevy would have given me the option to select my rear locker. But that being said, I have never had the G80 fail me so far. Every single time I've lost traction on one wheel or another, it's locked immediately. Now it does hit pretty hard once it locks up, which is why I wish you'd be able to select it beforehand. It does work really well. I've had zero issues with it so far. I love the styling of the tailgate. I loved the stamped Chevrolet logo in the tailgate. As you can see, I've added some carbon fiber lettering to the tailgate. I think it just gives it that extra pop. And I'm trying to go with a black and white theme here with the truck. One thing I will say, Chevy did not give me a spray-in bed liner or a drop-in bed liner with the truck. Would have really liked that. Obviously, you can add that if you are ordering or purchasing it through a dealer. Don't know why that doesn't come standard in newer trucks. Kind of a no-brainer. I also do not have the bed AC inverter. I wish I would have gotten that. Now I do have the trailering package, which does give me the upgraded alternator with the upgraded voltage and power, which I'm going to be using here soon with a red arc system in the truck. My second gen Colorado had the same exact bed. I have never had an issue with really trying to fit large objects in the truck. For my needs and my purposes, it has worked out perfectly. It would have been nice for Chevy to offer the long bed option in this model year. I don't know why they didn't do that, but no complaints as far as the size and looks of the bed. Now, if you come over here, you can see the bed rack. One issue that I've had, this bed rack is a universal bed rack. It's a no drill bed rack. I wish I would have gone with an extrusion bed rack from Extrusion Overland, but I have seen some of the sides of my bed split a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. That could be a concern for some people, maybe some bed stiffeners in the future. But that's really the only thing I've seen with the bed rack being on. The truck of the bed has handled it perfectly. No issues on that front. Now, I'll go ahead and touch on the interior of the Trail Boss trim. Chevy, come on. It's 2023. I have a work truck interior essentially inside of the truck. I really would have wished they would have added maybe some Trail Boss logos, maybe some carbon fiber, something. the Trail Boss inside is essentially a work truck trim. Now, really, I mean, like I said, it would have been nice to have some sort of accents, something different to really differentiate the Trail Boss from the other trims. But I will say I really do like the look of the interior. It's refreshed a lot over the second gen. The screen is awesome. I haven't had too many issues with the screen. I will say the infotainment system at first, GM's been slowly releasing some software updates which has fixed some issues, but it can be a little glitchy at times. Sometimes the truck won't connect to my Apple CarPlay. Sometimes it will connect, unconnect, and then won't connect again. It's really like a 80-20 chance that your Apple CarPlay is going to connect and work. Now I'm sure they're going to do more software updates in the future and provide some better access to that feature. Other than that, I love the screens. I love the off-road modes, which we'll talk about here in a second. The off-road modes are great. I have yet to try terrain mode. As you can see, we live in Southwest Florida. Little to no elevation in this area. We will be taking a trip at the end of April to North Carolina and Tennessee, which I'll get to use terrain mode, hill descent control, all of the goodies that come with the truck, which we will be making a full video on in the future. I want to do a Smoky Mountain movie, which I can't wait to get to show you guys. But that being said, you know, I touched on the off-road performance a little bit ago. No complaints there. In the future, I am thinking about doing the 2-inch level and the 1-inch add a leaf in the rear, maybe with a shackle as well. And I'm going to try to fit 34s, maybe 35s on the truck. We'll see how that goes. We're going to do some rock sliders, and we're also going to do a bumper and skids in the future. My next video, I'm going to show you guys the install of the Red Arc BC-DC charger in the rear of the truck. We're also going to be installing an IceCo VL45 in the bed of the truck.
In conclusion, I believe the 3rd Gen Colorado is the ideal choice if you're in the market for a midsize truck that aligns with your needs and lifestyle. It excels as both an overland vehicle and a daily driver. When driving trails alongside Jeeps and Broncos, the Trail Boss trim surprises with its ability to keep pace, even in its stock form. With some added ground clearance and larger tires, the Colorado becomes a formidable contender. So far, it has effortlessly handled every task I've thrown its way, with no major issues related to powertrain or electronics. Its highway performance is smooth, and its street manners are commendable. Moreover, its new powertrain boasts impressive fuel efficiency. I've thoroughly enjoyed my experience with the new Colorado and eagerly anticipate sharing adventures and modifications we do with it.
Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you have any questions in the future, please let me know in the comments. We're going to be doing a ton of content in the future on the Trail Boss, overlanding in Florida. Hopefully we're going to get out of state here in the future and do some overlanding trips. Next year we're going to do Moab and Colorado. We'll see how that goes. Thank you for watching. This is the Ross Overland channel. Thanks guys.